think the big problem this country has is being politically correct. I've been challenged by so many people, and I don't frankly have time for total political correctness. And to be honest with you, this country doesn't have time either.
Yes, political correctness is out. American exceptionalism is back, ready to re-empower our republic as one nation under God by restoring our unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This is the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives, with your host, John Matthews.
The latter-day prophet, saying against the hypocrisies of our time.
And Joe Hakos.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most informed pundits and activists available today. Together we seek to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. And now, your hosts of the nationally acclaimed, globally syndicated Conservative Syndicate, John Matthews and Joe Hakos. And how are we doing out there? Once again, all across this great republic and around the world, it's time once again for the Conservative Syndicate, nationally acclaimed, globally syndicated. And we're glad to have you with us today for yet another day, another broadcast day, another day of bringing you the truth on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. We're glad to have you with us. Boy, I tell you, I don't know where to start. There's so much stuff going on here. I used to think it was hard keeping up with the Obama administration. But boy, this is turning into a real challenge to get on the air and figure out what to cover in 2 hours each day, when in fact we could probably go 8 hours each day and still not cover everything that's happening, the rapidness with which everything is taking place. But that is the strategy of the left. Keep everybody dumb, dazed, and confused. And, eventually everybody just caves in and gives them what they want. Let's hope that's coming to an end. So, anyway, we're glad to have you with us today. Bring on my partner in crime here, Joe Hakos. How are you doing today, Joe?
I'm doing great, John. Glad to be here. Glad everybody's out there. Appreciate them being here. Hey, if you hear stuff in the background, our thoughts and prayers go out to those folks in New Orleans that had a tornado. But that line of storms is coming through my area right now. So that's what you hear in the background.
Well, if we hear, or if we lose air, if we lose you out there, we'll know why.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And that could happen.
Yeah, for those of you who may have tuned in, expecting us to have Lieutenant Governor Carlos Lopez Cantera on, it was a real tight arrangement based on whether or not he was going to make it, or had made it in time to his destination. And we understand he's probably still en route, so we'll have to reschedule that for another day. We took a shot at it and thought, maybe we could time things out, but it just doesn't appear to have worked.
No, well, he's in the middle of this weather, so
yeah. So we'll set it up. For another time.
I'd rather have him be safe, and we'll get him on. He's more than willing to come on for us. So it's just a matter of getting a hold of him and getting the scheduling conflicts out of the way, and we'll get it together. We'll make it happen.
Yeah. So we're very focused this year on really starting to begin bringing in some real, what I want to call, top tier people on the show here. It's not to say that interviews that we've done in the past are not top tier people, but maybe more recognizable names. Let's put it that way. A lot of times I base who I want to interview on what they're going to contribute to a specific topic, that type of thing, where sometimes when you get some of the more popular, more well-known people out there, what happens is you end up trying to cover a wide spectrum of issues, and that's not always productive. But we're going to get into that now because I think at this point in time we all need some help discerning what's going on out there, because it's so chaotic and it's so discombobulated to some degree, and intentionally so. It's been designed that way by the media. Like I said, I think the media should use the theme song from Led Zeppelin. Remember that old song, Dazed and Confused?
I think so long it's not true.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the way that they either see things or the way that they want to project things. I'm not, maybe a combination of both.
We've never heard it before. Anyway, yeah, it's like I wanted to bring some people on that actually been in this game that we keep hearing about. Like that's one of the reasons I wanted to get Peter on, like yesterday, because he was part of that, the whole process, the electoral college process, and he was living that with all the pressures that the left was putting on, and part of the establishment Republicans that wanted to fight Donald Trump tooth and nail, up until even now they're doing it, the bitter end. I mean, the Murkowskis of the world and the Susan Collinses of the world that fought against DeVos's confirmation, to bring the vice president into the fold there, to make him do what he had to do. I mean, so I wanted to get people that are actually in the game, kind of there. So I wanted, hence the lieutenant governor, and I want, and I do appreciate his offer, and Peter from yesterday too, because these folks have been living it. I mean, Peter was up there in Cleveland at the convention, which was. Again, he was part of the rules committee up there. I don't know if people remember that from yesterday, but he was on the rules committee, and there was always talk about changing the rules of the convention and everything else, and so he was part of that school that said, "Hey, no, we're not doing things to make it so we're going to follow the will of the people." Basically, what's his motivation?
Yeah, and like I said, we want to bring in some people that we can really get into the wider spectrum of conversation, and we'd be able to hit multiple issues at one time rather than bringing people on, particularly, specifically most of the time for one specific issue or one topic or something like that. So we're going to try to expand on that. And I'm bound and determined this sometime, I hope, within the next couple of months. I really want to try to land an interview with this gentleman out here. What's his last name? I can't pronounce his name. Milo? His last name is just one of those names that I'm going to have a hard time with.
Yeah, he's definitely a Native American name. Yes, No, not really. Yiannopoulos, I think is how you pronounce it, something like that. Yeah, but just go Milo. People know who you're talking about.
Yiannopoulos, I think is how you say it, something like that. It's like, I got to be honest. I have sometimes a tendency to lapse into what I call Bushisms and, mispronounce things a lot. I'm kind of, in a way, somewhat dyslexic when it comes to pronouncing names that have more than two syllables in them. And, you know how long it took me to learn how to pronounce Stephanopoulos? I mean, I literally had to sit down and practice that. It's just one of my little quirks, perhaps due to my hearing disability. But things just don't always process exactly the right way. Anyway, but the point being was we're going to try to get some wider people. That's why we kind of expanded our reach in terms of contributors. People like Scott Faulkner, who is actually working with the Trump staff right now. People like Jonathan Dunn out there with the Daily Caller. We're trying to expand our reach in terms of what we bring to you, our listening public. So just know we're at work. We're trying to do it. In line with that, a couple of things we're going to talk about here, but I want to get we're going to talk about some things that are going on out here in California. But I want to, since we're coming up on our first break, I don't want to jump right into that right now because I want to give us some time to talk about. We got a couple of things we want to talk about. But quickly here, finally, Betty DeVos was confirmed today as Secretary of Education. And it took Mike Pence, Vice President Pence, to come in and cast that deciding vote, being another historical first. Trump, everything, when Obama was president, we spent the first 4 years of his administration listening to all the things that were firsts that Obama did. He was the first this and the first that.
Yeah, that's funny you say that. I remember, maybe I got a way that we can stop all this nonsense from the Democrats, since they want to block everything. Maybe if Donald Trump President Trump does this and says, I want to name this person to be, I don't know, the czar of healthcare, maybe the Democrats will be fooled enough into thinking, oh, it's a czar, so we must like that and go with that. Maybe we should do that. I think.
Yeah. Anyway, we got to go to a break here. Our first break coming up after our break here. We should have Audrey Russo with us from Real Talk Radio doing her weekly contribution. So stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away. We're not arguing. We're explaining why we're right. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-790-5960. That's 1-800-790-5960. Again, 1-800-790-5960. Call now.
Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification require cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing, and other restrictions apply. If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Only Dish brings you the best in entertainment for less than $20 a month. Cut the cable and don't get directed. Switch to Dish because at just $19.99, Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. It's so simple. The same channels cost less with Dish. So since you can't see the difference, don't pay the difference. Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Get premium movie channels free for 3 months, starting at just $19.99. Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. Call now to save with Dish. Dial 1-800-600-1645. That's 1-800-600-1645. The same channels for less than $20 a month. Dish. Call 1-800-600-1645 for details.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Attention taxpayers. If you've received a notice from the IRS or state, do not ignore it. It's also a big mistake to try and handle your tax problem on your own. If you owe back taxes, it's a fact that the government has the power to take everything you own, including your home, business, wages, savings, and your freedom. But here's the good news. There's a special toll-free tax hotline set up especially for you. This tax hotline will tell you about new programs that are geared to help you dramatically settle, reduce, or eliminate what you owe. But you have to call now. Take down this number or put it in your cell phone. But call 866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959. When you call, you get free information on how you can reduce or eliminate back taxes, including penalties and interest. You can also be helped if you have unfiled returns, a tax lien, wage garnishment, bank levy, or if you've been entered into a payment plan but can't make the payments. Don't make the big mistake in thinking you can ignore or handle your tax problem on your own. You can stop the collection process immediately. Call this special tax hotline today for free info at 1-866-761-0959. That's 1-866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959.
And now back to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. History affirms a vibrant civil society thrives on freedom of conscience, religion, and choice. Any society absent these qualities stifles individual responsibility and accountability, thus enslaving its people by denying them their potential for goodness, creativity, and altruism. To that extent, oppression, coercion, and totalitarianism are multiplied exponentially. To counter such outcomes, the American Freedom Alliance was formed. The AFA is a nonpartisan, non-aligned movement which promotes, defends, and upholds Western values and ideals. The Alliance strives to build an international coalition of citizens of the West who together promote and protect moral values, democracy, and freedom. To find out more and become part of this valuable asset in the preservation of freedom and all its rewards, contact us at AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. That's AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. Let freedom ring. All right, hey, we're back, and you are listening to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. Glad to have you with us this great afternoon out here. We have Audrey Russo doing her weekly segment with us here from Real Talk Radio, and just perfect timing. Betty DeVos was just confirmed as the Secretary of Education, and I wanted to get your initial response on that, Audrey.
Well, I think it's a good thing. It's sad that Pence had to cast the deciding vote because we still have so many rhinos on our side.
Yes.
Well, they're not on our side. They happen to be with an R, but they're rhinos.
Well, they're on the. No, actually, those two are particularly on the side of the NEA and the other teachers' unions.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta ask the question. How did somebody like Lisa Murkowski get elected in Alaska? This is kind of like, how did we get Barbara, what's her name, Wacko down there, Jackson or Johnson down in Texas? I mean, how is it these wackos get elected in very conservative states like this? It boggles my mind.
I just think it's the area. Are we talking about senators? Yeah, I don't get it. Unless they grease a lot of palms. That's all I can think of.
Well, you remember for Murkowski, she lost the Republican primary. She lost the primary and then had to go in as an independent because she was in Stephen's seat, that the guy that got killed in the plane crash. Yeah. And then, and so she won it that way. She got into the Senate that way because she didn't like the fact that she lost as a Republican nominee.
So is she trying to stick it to us? Is that what she's trying to do?
Yes, absolutely. So of course she is. You know that, and she's beholden to the teachers' unions. I mean, they gave her money, and she's and that's the reason why they let the vote go out to the Senate, onto the Senate floor like that, out of committee. Mm-hmm. And then they were like, okay, but we're going to do that, but we're not going to vote for him, because, okay, fine, you're going to stick up for your damn union as opposed to what is best for. And the unions don't like this choice because this individual is for actual school choice.
Yeah, school choice, charter schools. Yeah. And what that does is shine a light on the ineptitude and the corruption in the NEA.
Yes, absolutely. So they're not going to. That's the reason why they're not happy with it, because they're going to see, oh my goodness, and so they might. Well, they're never going to do it. So really, the destruction of the Department of Education would be absolutely the most fantastic thing ever.
Absolutely fantastic for kids, for parents. So this is my comment.
So am I to understand what she did was she got she ran and won as an independent, but then turned over a leaf and said she was a Republican again?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, our inspector should have taken a lesson from her.
Yeah, he was a real pip, that one. Yeah, he really was.
Him and that other guy, Chris Christie. I mean, these guys.
Oh, well, he's never been. Yeah, I can't stand Christie, and I'm so glad that he wasn't going to be. And that stupid mistake he made revealed how the leftist in him, which are very petty, they're infantile, they're very immature, they're like children. We're like dealing with children. And anytime you see anyone that's supposed to be on our side that has that leftist streak in them, that's the pettiness. And that's what happened to him when, what was that called? What gate was that in Jersey?
Bridgegate.
Yes.
Bridgegate,
Bridgegate, and that's why he didn't get a spot in the cabinet or in the administration because of that. And that's because he knew about it. He lied. I mean, we didn't lie about something like that. What a putz. So I can't stand him. But the other thing with Christie was he is an Islamist lover. He has a very, very bad history when it comes to that. And he was for the Ground Zero Mosque.
Yeah.
He was defending that. So, he is a dangerous weenie as far as I'm concerned, and you don't want him in there.
Yeah,
anyway,
if I can here, I want to kind of perhaps throw a curve at you guys. I want to something that I saw today, an article that came out of the Washington Post, claiming that this victory, that the nomination of Betsy DeVos as Education Secretary, is actually a victory for Jeb Bush. And the claim is that Jeb Bush is some kind of pioneer for the idea of independent education. And when I saw the article, it immediately drew my attention because Jeb Bush is like one of the last people I would say are champion for private education, being so involved with the Common Core, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, how do you reconcile that? Here's a guy that his brother is actually helping Bill Gates write the curriculum for Common Core, and the media is out there portraying him as the champion of private education. And I'm like, I can't get my head around that. But what I realized was, as I was reading the article, is that there is quite a relationship between Betty DeVos and Jeb Bush. She actually sits on on the board of his movement. What was it? The Foundation for Excellence in Education that Jeb Bush founded about the time he decided he could make a buck off of Common Core. And so I'm kind of a little bit torn here. If we got somebody that's such an ally of Jeb Bush, and yet is being called as by the media somewhat of an opponent to education because she does believe in the private voucher system and stuff like that, and then trying to lay him up against Jeb Bush, and I'm like, it's like here's one of those cases trying to play two ends against the middle. I mean, what do you think?
I think we should do away with the education department.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I get you there.
I mean, that's, bottom line is that it should be done with and should go back to the states and should be the oversight should be local. It should be local. It must be local for kids to ever get educated again in this country, because they're not now. I mean, billions of dollars in New York City, and we have dribbling idiots that are teaching there. Now, probably some that are listening there, how could you say that? Now, that's not all of the teachers, but I know some that have retired that had multiple degrees that can't put the sentence together. And that's who's teaching these kids. And thanks to the NEA, if someone is inept, they get just moved around from place to place. And if they're found doing something that was illegal, they don't get fired. They just get to sit in a lunchroom somewhere all day and they collect a paycheck. That's what happens with the NEA. That you have the kids lose, the parents lose, the taxpayers lose.
Yeah, and it seems like, from what my understanding here, see, I've kind of equated the Bush Foundation for Excellence in Education as the Rhino equivalent to the Clinton Global Initiative.
Yes,
because it's like, yeah, we're going to use a foundation to make money, to funnel money in there, because Jeb Bush referred to the public school districts as monopolies run by unions. Well, that's jargon that tells us that he wants it in private sector. So what? So they can sell the curriculum to the schools and make a ton of money that way. And I spent some time in this show last year, I believe, talking about how Common Core is actually the testing and everything. And boy, I'll tell you what, you talk about a cash cow, an online cash cow, $37 a test, and very seldom do the students pass the first time. So the idea is the federal funds get funneled into the school for Common Core testing, and then they spend a ton of money trying to get children to pass tests that are actually generated on a curve. meaning if you answer the question wrong, then what they do is they give you a simpler question the second time to make sure that everybody graduates with a 4.0 average.
Yeah, and I definitely would like that person who goes through school that way and then goes through medical school that way operating on me. Not.
Well, that's why they.
I mean, think about that. Do you know? I mean, people don't. If you carry it through to the end, this is what happens. Social promotion in school. On a grading on a curve, and they go through, and this doesn't stop in grammar school or in high school. It goes on through college because they don't care. They're making money. Remember that.
Yeah, I mean, well, then I guess what happens is eventually every doctor has to become an abortion doctor so they don't have to operate on anybody.
Right. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
Oh, kind of, sort of.
Sort of, yeah.
Well, I guess that's why what I always make this joke. That's why they call the law profession and the medical profession practice.
Well, yeah, it's
still practicing. Yeah, I know. Well, not on me, but anyway.
Practice.
But and then the other thing that really kind of got me was the endorsement by Barbara Bush of Betsy DeVos. I went, okay, I got to take a second look at this.
Well, that should probably talk to you, really define it, and really get your antenna up as, hey, this could be fake news.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Anyway, I'm with Audrey though. I'm hoping. See, what I'm hoping that I'm kind of hoping that Trump has put people in positions like here and HUD with what's his name, Ben Carson, people like that. People that the EPA guy, I forget his name, but these people are totally against the bureaucracies that they're running.
I think Democrats called him Beelzebub.
Well, yeah. Oh, that's so funny. Well, with DeVos, you know that the NEA didn't want her. You know that the Teachers Federation didn't want her, right? So that's a good sign.
Yeah.
See that? That's a good sign.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's kind of a conflict because you're like, okay, if the unions don't like her, then you know it's got to be good. If the Bushes like her, you know it's got to be bad.
Right. So you're kind of in the middle. But hopefully it'll be just for a time. And because in the past, early on the campaign trail, he had mentioned doing away with the education department, making it back, giving it back to the states and allowing it to be local so that there is oversight by the parents.
Yeah, and that's what I'm hoping is happening here. That he's appointing people that won't obstruct or hinder him wanting to eventually abolish the respective departments. I would love to see the EPA go the same route as the IRS, the Department of Education, and probably, if I think about it, a few more of them. But if we could, I just happened to look at a chart this morning as to how the federal government bureaucracy is laid out. And I'm like, if I printed this thing out, it would take like 5 pages.
Oh, yeah. Most definitely.
Go ahead.
You know what I'd like to see happen? I'd like to be able to put all those H&R Block and those companies, I'd like to put those all out of business.
Oh, yeah, I know.
And that would be because I just got rid of the IRS.
Well, go ahead,
he's going to surgery on that, yeah. He's going to remove things from that because, remember, there's 17,000 jobs that are new and need to be removed because they were there for Obamacare.
Yeah. I just, Joe
think about that. The IRS overseeing Obamacare. How insane is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. No conflict of interest there.
No.
Their audits felt like there was a medical procedure, but now it's they really want to be a medical procedure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want them that they don't know what they're doing when it comes to just our taxes. Do we really want them to oversight of our health?
No, the government. I don't want the government oversight anything. Really, to be honest with you, they can't even run a railroad or a post office.
I mean, what would an audit include? A colonoscopy?
So that was kind of my point before.
Well, I look at it this way: we're 6 years into Obamacare, and they're still trying to figure out how to make the website work. And there you go. So, but Joe made a mention here about these income tax preparation units, H&R Block. We've got a couple of them out here, Liberty Tax Service out here, that they do your taxes for free. And I'm like, all right, so who's paying you to do this?
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna. And in fact, one of them is offering you $50 to come in and do your taxes. And I'm like, well, then who's subsidizing this stuff? Somebody's
that sounds funny, because they'll say, well, yes, for basic, but since you have deductions here, we're going to have to charge you for each.
Yeah, since you walked in breathing, we're going to have to charge you for that.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm sorry,
we're at the
on the screen. You're doing it. I'm going to charge you for that. Yeah.
All right, guys, we're coming up on a break here. We got to take a break. We'll be back in just a few minutes here. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. We've got Audrey Russo, Joe Hickles, and myself, and we'll be right back.
Hey, I'll make you a deal. Give me 60 seconds, and I'll give you directions to the Fountain of Youth. Okay, I'm joking. Well, kind of joking. No fountains, but youth, I got Nature's Youth and their premier anti-aging product, Nature's Youth RSF. With your sensible diet and exercise plan, Nature's Youth RSF can help you look and feel better. RSF is an all-natural amino acid supplement that supports your body to naturally increase HGH levels without any synthetic hormones. And elevated HGH levels can contribute to increased energy, improved libido, reduced body fat, and improved exercise capacity. Let's be honest. Who doesn't want to look and feel younger? Visit the newly designed website at naturesyouth.com or call 800-333-6923. That's 800-333-6923, and like them on Facebook, and you'll be included in contests and exclusive offers. What a deal. Oh, speaking of deals, my time's about up. 800-333-6923 or naturesyouth.com. Who needs a fountain anyway? Call today.
Expand your life with Expandovite.
When I had a heart attack at 42, I was not sure what the future held. But a year later, the doctors could find nothing wrong with me and took me off all my medication. What did I do? I took a herbal mixture of garlic, cayenne, and a few other herbs mixed in liquid form. I now call this Extendovite. I would have never believed that a few simple herbs could actually change my life like they did. Now it's your turn to see what the powers of garlic and cayenne can do for you. For only $69.95 plus shipping and handling for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid, you too can begin on your path to better health. For more information, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Expand your life with Expandovite.
I've owned my company for 14 years now, and I can tell you that payroll is a 4-letter word. I hate doing it. It eats up hours I don't have, and it costs me money I could be saving. But my accountant's too expensive, and I'm not sure who to call, but I know I need help.
We're Paychex, and we take all the hassles out of small business payroll. We save you time and money. It's easy. Call, fax, or give us your payroll information securely online, and we take care of the rest. We calculate the correct taxes, manage payments and direct deposits. We even send out your checks. Payroll doesn't need to be a 4-letter word anymore. We're so sure that we can save you time and money that we'll give you a month's payroll free. Just for calling 877-663-3830. Get 1 month's payroll for free. Call Paychex right now. 877-663-3830. That's 877-663-3830.
Hey, I don't back anybody unless I believe in them. And I do believe in the value of investing in gold and silver. And the company I trust to buy my gold and silver from is Swiss America. I've been working with them for nearly a decade. I trust them, and you can too. Swiss America will help you sort through and find the best options available when you're considering investing in gold and silver coins. Listen, for over 30 years, Swiss America has been offering Americans what they want in their investments: safety, liquidity, quality, reliability, and a potential profit. Gold and silver have a place in every investor's portfolio. So why not let Swiss America help you diversify your investment portfolio now? Call now for free information. 800-978-3907. 800-978-3907. 800-978-3907. 800-978-3907.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-380-2906. That's 800-380-2906. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-380-2906.
And now back to the Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives. All right, hey, we're back, and this is the Conservative Syndicate, the real Conservative Syndicate, doing real conservative stuff with real conservatives. We got to clarify that these days, because it seems like, once again, I could do an entire show on just liberal doublespeak and how words have become so interchangeable within the media concept. And conservative is one of those words that gets tossed around to fit whatever particular narrative that's being projected at the time. Calling John McCain a conservative, for instance. When he's siding with the Democrats or something like that, to kind of make it sound like it's bipartisan, things of that nature, it's just so we have to really kind of clarify where real conservatives that believe in real conservatism by the definition of what conservatism is. So, having said that, we have Audrey Russo from Real Talk Radio with us, doing her weekly segment with us, and Audrey is kind of concerned about the number of hateful tweets that are out there coming from the left. The left, those people that are so tolerant and inclusive and just want to love everybody, want to change the national anthem to make what is it? I want to teach the world to sing, that kind of stuff. And they just love mankind so much.
They love to hate. But it's the violent tweets. They're especially focused on President Trump that has at the publication Mashable reports that in just the first 12 days of Trump's presidency, more than 12,000 tweets have called for his assassination. Really? And yet they're all still up on Twitter. For some reason, Twitter doesn't consider these to be offensive or violate any rules. But, a conservative says something or questions something that somebody finds offensive, and they're gone from. So, I mean, the blatant hypocrisy is at this point offensive. I think.
Wow, I was not aware of that. But and in line with what you just said about Twitter, I've been kind of vetting. Let me use the proper term here. I've been vetting the guy who's been in the crosshairs out here lately in the media, Milo Yiannopoulos. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Yeah,
it's actually Yiannopoulos. I know it's a tongue twister. Yiannopoulos.
Yeah. It's kind of like I was just saying. It took me a week to learn how to say Stephanopoulos. So it's
no. Yeah. Well, actually, the name over in Europe, like there was a wrestler years ago by the name of Milo. So it's spelled the same. So I have to correct myself every time I'm about to say his name. I say Milo because I remember Milo, not, but this is Milo Yiannopoulos. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was just, again, one of these guys, he's been branded as a quote unquote conservative, and he himself denies that label. Yeah. And so, it's like he was banned from Twitter. By the way,
yes, he was banned from Twitter. They and then they've come out with now new rules where they're going to try to prevent people who have abusive accounts from getting on Twitter on duplicate accounts or something. And I'm thinking, so what is it exactly? So you don't want any of these people that you banned to come back on. Grow the freak up, okay? Either you have free speech or you don't. They say they want to protect free speech, but it seems that it's only conservatives that they have a problem with. The left, as we could see, you can go to any of these 12,000 tweets that are calling for the assassination of the President of the United States. I don't care if it was a Republican or a Democrat. You never do that. That is bad for the country.
Well,
they have no problem leaving that up. These tweets up.
Yeah.
No, I mean, the left are insane. They have like ordered insanity, okay? But they know there are people, thanks to them, that wander around on the streets that are on medication from the state, but they are still mentally ill. And those are the ones that they hope will get hold of something like that and hurt the president or someone in his family. These are sick, evil people. They're doing to President Trump exactly what they did to my kin, the Jewish people, in Nazi Germany, where they say you're no longer human, you're a rodent, and we kill rodents. Okay, so he's a Hitler, and let's kill him because he's a Hitler. He's a tyrant and a Hitler when he's not.
Yeah, and a couple of quick thoughts here, because Joe was talking about this yesterday, about the idea that that's what the left wants. The left wants the violence. They want to see people killed. I'm kind of surprised. I wasn't really totally aware. I know there's people out there that would like to see Trump dead, just like I knew there were people out there that wanted to see Obama dead. We know that goes both ways. But
people didn't say these things. They didn't say assassinate him. You didn't see that. But what you do see here is people are just throwing it out like it means nothing. And, of course, the Secret Service doesn't have the capacity to investigate all these.
Yeah, but to a bigger thought here, the idea if we were the FCC, where's the FCC when this stuff happens? It's like the FCC, if we were to sit here on the air right now and we were to call for the overthrow of the government, and the assassination of our president or anybody sitting in a government official's office right now and say, we think that, anarchy, let's go out and kill everybody and, let's take it. Then we are subject to a felony charge. I mean, there's laws against saying this kind of stuff out in the public arena. And yet these people, under the guise of free speech, in fact, that's the only aspect of the First Amendment that I know the law really addresses, and that is calling for the overthrow of the government. When you talk about assassinating a president, that's really what you're talking about.
Well, yeah, of course that's what you're talking about. Look, the left loves this kind of thing. They're hoping that there's enough crazies out there, and they'll at least pay enough crazies out there to keep it going so that they can, and they hope for violence, and they hope for injury and death. They hope that because then they will blame it on Trump. They will say, oh, it's his fault, and they'll say, we need order. So in order to have order, we have to make sure we don't have any Republicans in office, and we'll take care of the order. Bing, bang, boom, you have you'll have one of them, God forbid, in, and you'll have martial law, and let me see, what's the next step? Then you get a real tyrant.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Not Trump.
You got people like Robert Reich out there saying that it was the conservatives that brought the rioters in at Berkeley.
Yeah,
conservatives. Yeah, sure, Robert. Yeah.
These people are so, they're I don't even know. I don't have the terminology because bad words will come out of my mouth when I do that. I can't even respect them enough to say something that they. I want to say something bad, but I'm not going to. I'm going to respect the listeners, and I'm a lady, so I can't call them what they really need to be called.
I think what we're going to find is that somehow, I think it's going to start once Sessions becomes the Attorney General.
Oh, yeah.
Then it's going to start because law and order will be the phrase of the day, and we're going to have that again. It's going to come down. I mean, they tried this crap with Reagan.
Yeah.
And they tried this crap with Reagan when Reagan was the governor of California, if you want to go back that far.
And I understand, he took care of it, didn't he?
Yes, he did. And they were like, what are you doing? Why are you coming down on these people? And it's like, hello? Really?
Well, see, that's the whole thing. They believe that there's no consequences for their actions, and obviously their mommy didn't teach them that. So therefore, unfortunately, society has to teach them. So we say, okay, if you become violent, there will be certain things that happen to you. So don't become violent, and these things won't happen. So then they do it, and when they get the consequences, they stand there scratching their heads or crying like little babies because they are too ignorant to understand that actions have consequences.
Yeah, so Jeff Sessions is going to become President Donald Trump's wooden spoon.
Yeah. And they're all getting taken to the woodshed too.
Yeah, I was getting a kick out of that. Speaking about Tom Sessions, Chuck Schumer's coming out today and talking about the fact his big concern with Tom Sessions is that Tom Sessions was a supporter of Donald Trump before he was appointed to the office. Therefore, he can't be independent. And I'm sitting there going, what? I'm listening to this, and I'm going...
As such, even people on the other side that have any integrity whatsoever know that Jeff Sessions is an honorable man.
Yes.
So this is
I'm sitting here thinking, immediately popped in my head, oh, so Loretta Lynch was independent.
Yeah. Holder was independent. He looked at his job was to enforce the laws that were on the books, and he said he cherry picked what he was going to do. I mean, come on.
I'm like, where in the world? I mean, are we really that gullible to think that a president is going to nominate an attorney general that is against the president?
Yeah. Let them carry on, yammer on, and just ignore them as the baby with the tantrum in the room, who will eventually get over it. The thing that bothers me is that the violence, the call for violence,
yes.
And the visceral hatred that is unwarranted. There's this. They cannot justify this hatred. It's irrational. It really is. It's irrational, and I think that it needs to be crushed. And it has to. It has to be crushed. So you're not crushing speech when you're provoking violence. You're calling for violence. That's not free speech, and that needs to be crushed.
Yeah, I agree. We got to go to a quick break here. We've got Audrey Russo from Real Talk Radio with us. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a moment. There is an old saying, children should be seen but not heard. At no time is this more apparent than when politicians speak. The Conservative Syndicate.net, the adults in the room. Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardosa. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardosa Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosalive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosalive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did. History affirms a vibrant civil society thrives on freedom of conscience, religion, and choice. Any society absent these qualities stifles individual responsibility and accountability, thus enslaving its people by denying them the potential for goodness, creativity, and altruism. To that extent, oppression, coercion, and totalitarianism are multiplied exponentially. To counter such outcomes, the American Freedom Alliance was formed. The AFA is a nonpartisan, non-aligned movement which promotes, defends, and upholds Western values and ideals. The Alliance strives to build an international coalition of citizens of the West who together promote and protect moral values, democracy, and freedom. To find out more and become part of this valuable asset in the preservation of freedom and all its rewards, contact us at AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. That's AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. Let freedom ring. And now back to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. All right. right, hey, we're back, and you are listening to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos. We've got Audrey Russo checking in to do her weekly segment with us, and I'm just sitting here looking at some stuff that she posted here. What's this thing about the biologically male transgenders? What's that about?
Yeah.
You talking about on Facebook?
Well, I don't know. I just saw your link here, and it just kind of, what's that about?
I'm trying to think.
I put that up there, John.
Oh, you put that up there.
Yeah, but that was about it. That's in the UK, and that's a transgender male that claims to be female that was having sex with women in a female prison.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were talking.
Four of them, you know.
I thought you were talking about Melissa.
And the reporters go, reads, a source familiar with the case told the Star, I guess the paper, the women want sex, and Paris is the only person that can give it to them.
Okay, I thought you were talking about Melissa McCarthy's impersonation of Sean Spicer.
No, I don't know about that.
That's disgusting. No.
No, I'm sure it was disgusting.
Well, I was thinking Melissa McCarthy should be the poster child for the transgender movement now. You've got a fat white woman portraying a fat white man, and and actually she looks better. So anyway, that's just my shot at news. My shot at cheap humor today. All right, Melissa McCarthy looks better as Sean Spicer than she does Melissa McCarthy. So, anyway, I thought that probably should have been something delegated to Rosie O'Donnell. That would be some real political irony there.
Yeah, that would be a real ugly man for her to be.
Yeah, and of course, Alec Baldwin finally found a role he can play impersonating Donald Trump after decades of trying to be an actor.
And he doesn't do a good job of it, in my opinion. He stinks. Yeah.
I get kicks out of this kind of stuff because I remember, I flash back to things like the movie Team America. I don't know if you ever saw that. The marionette movie they made.
Oh, yeah.
And the whole theme of that movie was that Alec Baldwin was the greatest actor in the world.
So it's pure fiction. Okay.
Funny you say that. As I'm just perusing the sites, I see this headline: Rosie O'Donnell wants to play Steve Bannon on Saturday Night Live.
Oh, that would be great. I get it.
She's not pretty enough.
I don't know. I don't know. She might have to shave a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. At least her back.
Oh my gosh! Okay.
Punch today.
Yeah. Okay. Somebody alert Kelly, Megyn Kelly, and tell her I just said Rosie O'Donnell needs her back shaved. Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just I get into the satire. I don't find any of this stuff really offensive. I don't personally. I
don't care. It's just that it's just their hypocrisy. They wouldn't do anything negative about Obama. They were afraid. They were afraid of being called racist. A bunch of phonies.
Well, I don't know. I thought they did a really good job of mocking Hillary Clinton during the election cycle. I don't know what that girl was that played Hillary Clinton, but I thought, she, to me, very accurate portrayal, psychopathic, I thought, but they don't do it enough. That's the thing. We need some fairness doctrine at Saturday Night Live. If you're going to go after Donald Trump, let's go after some of the other wingnuts on the other side,
Yeah, I wouldn't even bother. It's just not worth it. It's not like it was years ago. It's just, it stinks. So I don't, it's not what it was.
I'm waiting for. Oh yeah, I know. I quit watching after the Joe Piscopo era. After that, I think it just kind of lost its fervor, and it's like, I don't know, just wasn't there after that for me. I just, maybe because I gave up drugs after that. I don't know, but That used to be our pastime, was getting stoned and watching Saturday Night Live. That
really?
was a big thing.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, but when you
I
grow
was
up,
I was goody two shoes. I didn't do drugs. Anybody can look at my background. I didn't do drugs. I don't even like. I have nothing against somebody drinking as long as they don't get drunk, because I'm not against it. It's just that I don't like it. I don't like to drink. I don't like to. I didn't smoke.
Yeah, well, I was a liberal
was scary enough. I didn't need something to induce me into fear. Okay.
Yeah, in those days I was a liberal transitioning to a Republican, so I definitely needed drugs to do it.
No, I was always a conservative. Yeah, that might be the difference. I don't know, but no, I'm sure there's enough conservatives.
Yeah, I was evolving, if I can use a progressive term there.
Yeah, you can use a progressive term.
But you put away, as the Bible says, you put away childish things, and you grow up, and that's anybody who remains a liberal after the age of 30 definitely has a mental disability, in my opinion.
Yes.
So, during college era, fine, let's all be happy, and but when you get into the real world, you've got to really kind of look at things from a different perspective. If not, then you're hell bent on destruction, and you just don't know it. That's the way I see it. So, anyway, we're coming up on the end of our time here. Any parting shots you want to impart to us before we let you go, Audrey?
Yeah, I want to use the left's rhetoric back. Stop the hate, okay? Just stop the hate. I mean, I am so sick of it. Grow the hell up now, okay? Just grow up. Yeah. Time to grow up and deal, okay? They always say deal. Okay, you deal now. Deal with the fact that this is the president. That's it. You don't like it, too bad. I didn't like Obama for 8 years. It caused a bad gag reflex constantly. But I lived with it. Now you have to live with it. Live with it and stop and just grow the hell up. These people are out in the streets. They don't have a job. That's Obama's fault. Let's give them a job. Let's give them first job. Let's get them to clean up the streets, because these people leave a filthy mess.
Well, I'm all for expressing opposing views and demonstrating and doing all the things that they're doing. I'm not in favor of calling for the death of people and destroying property and everything else. That goes beyond the pale.
Yeah. I will say one thing that I kind of went hee when I saw that they destroyed the Starbucks in Berkeley. That's like.
Well, really,
the irony of it all.
I think it's very funny, and if they do, and you know what? I mean, honestly, Schultz deserves it. He's so pro them. Good. They just kicked him in the tuchus, and that cost him a lot of money. And that's
enough.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that thousand. But see, you're going to commit violence, then you're going to get smashed. It's time. We cannot allow this. We can. What happened there cannot be allowed anywhere else. It cannot.
Yeah.
We can't have this.
Yeah. Well,
no, it needs to come to an end. Straight up, it needs to come to an end. This needs to be called for what it is. It's riots. It's not protest.
Right.
And you don't have a right in this country to riot.
Yeah. No, you don't have a right to riot. You don't have a right to call for someone's death. That is not free speech. That is not free speech. That is not the exchange of ideas. Yeah. That is not a legitimate protest.
Yeah.
Those are crimes.
Yeah,
so they have to be dealt with that
absolutely. Way. All right, Audrey, let us know who you got on your show this week.
3 brilliant people who are going to school us. Mona Walter will be back from, she would be here from Sweden, and we'll be talking about Islam. And Andrew McCarthy will be talking to us about the ban, which is not a ban, really. It's a moratorium, and how legitimate and how constitutional it is. And Dr. Andrew Boston will be back with us as well, talking about Iran, also talking about the ban and talking about Islam. So it's going to be a great education for all of us.
Notice a theme there. I notice a theme.
Yes, the theme is Islam.
Yeah, and you can catch Audrey's show at audreyrusso.com Thursday 8 p.m. Eastern time, right?
That's correct. Thank you so much.
All right, dear. We got to let you go. Thanks so much for coming on, and we'll talk to you during the week.
Thanks, guys. God bless. Bye-bye.
All right, guys. We're coming up top of the hour here. We're going to do the Edwards Notebook and pay some bills, and then we'll be back. So stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away.
If
President Donald Trump is a racist, then pigs do fly, and all is well in Chicago. Hello, I'm Ron Edwards. On today's page from the Edwards Notebook, it was so beyond refreshing during a Varney and Company broadcast on Fox recently, where President Donald Trump met with numerous Americans who happened to be black. Individuals ranging from Pastor Darrell Scott and his wife, Dr. Ben Carson, Bill Cleveland, Earl Matthews, and many others. And you know what? They talked about solutions to problems plaguing the American black community and our nation overall. Notice I didn't say complain, badmouth America, or spew hatred. That's because absent from the meeting were hyphenated or bitter African Americans like Jesse, hey, where's the camera, Jackson, Black Lives Matter Gumps, Al Sharpton, and others of that ilk. In fact, those that have eyes to see and ears to hear clearly understand that President Donald Trump is the real deal concerning his desire to solve problems everywhere in our republic, including black communities. Even thug gang leaders in Chicago have said they want to hear what Trump has to say. Isn't that interesting how the previous Obama administration never inspired such ideas? I'm Ron Edwards.
Blowing away the myths and revealing the truth. You can continue to blow away the myths with Ron Edwards on Facebook, Twitter, and theronedwards.com.
You can catch all our archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
Prices are for base buildings only. May not be available in some areas. Attention business owners, do you want a stimulus package that really works? Before you spend thousands of dollars more than you should on your next building project, listen to this. General Steel has a stimulus package designed to help you save as much as half the cost of conventional construction on your next building. As much as half. That's right. General Steel can save you thousands of dollars with a pre-engineered steel building designed for your business or church. How about a 50 by 100 foot building for under $30,000? So don't pay thousands more than you should without calling General Steel first and save as much as half the cost and time of conventional construction. With the projected demand for steel in Japan and China, prices may be skyrocketing.
877-927-3360. 877-927-3360. 877-927-3360. Term life insurance. It can be a powerful way to protect your assets and your family. You work hard to earn and save your money to build a nest egg for the future. Don't let it get wiped out because you didn't plan ahead. Take the time now and make a small investment in $500,000 or more in quality term life insurance. Call the Term Lifeline and let us shop the best companies to give you the lowest rates. We specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. Ask about some of our 10 and 20-year fixed rate plans with guaranteed rates. Call the Term Lifeline right now for your free insurance quote. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609. You owe it to yourself to protect your family and your assets. Make term life insurance part of that plan. Call the Term Lifeline right now. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
I think the big problem this country has is being politically correct. I've been challenged by so many people, and I don't frankly have time for total political correctness. And to be honest with you, this country doesn't have time either.
Yes, political correctness is out. American exceptionalism is back, ready to re-empower our republic as one nation under God by restoring our unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This is the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives, with your host, John Matthews.
The latter-day prophet, weighing against the hypocrisies of our time.
And Joe Hakos.
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most informed pundits and activists available today. Together we seek to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. And now, your hosts of the nationally acclaimed, globally syndicated Conservative Syndicate, John Matthews and Joe Hakos. Hey, we're back. This is Hour 2. Hour 2 right here at the Conservative Syndicate. We're glad to have you with us today and hope you enjoyed the first hour. I thought very insightful, very, very nice first hour with Audrey Russo over there at Real Talk Radio.
Hey, let me give you an update, John.
Yeah.
Okay, I just got off the phone with the lieutenant governor, and he's in the middle of this driving rainstorm that went through Louisiana. Now it's cutting across Florida right now. So I just told him to be safe and get to where he needs to go, and we'll set up a time that he can come on to the show at a later date. So he called us back, and he's ready and willing to come on the show and brag about Florida.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, we'd rather have him make it to where he's going and be able to call in, not from a hospital bed, that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's Lieutenant Governor Carlos Lopez Cantera down there in Florida, and we're gonna set something up and have him come on. Joe did a great job of just scoring even a chance to talk to the guy. So we're going to take advantage of that. So having said that, we're going to bring on early here another contributor, one of our more loyal and I'm going to say consistent contributors here in the Conservative Syndicate, Don Dix, who
and a star in his own right and a heartthrob at that, I heard.
Yeah, and the reason he's so consistent is he does his own show, so he understands all the aspects of trying to come on the air every day and get something out here in a plausible fashion with all the technical glitches and all the other crap that happens that nobody ever sees or hears about. So, Don, how you doing? I know you're out in Riverside right now.
Well, yeah, I'm sort of live remote, not at my typical. How are you guys, by the way?
I'm sorry?
I'm fine.
I said, how are you guys, by the way?
Okay. So, you had a rally that you went to today. How'd that come down?
Well, I'm actually there right now, so I'm not at my typical quiet desk talking to you in a controlled environment. I am in Riverside, California, downtown at the City Hall, where a group of people who have been organized by a candidate for city council are here at the city council meeting speaking out about trying to make Riverside a sanctuary city. And the group is a couple of different numbers. There are both pro and anti factions here, speaking out during public comment. And the organizers have said that they expect somewhere between 100 to 200 people here during the public comment of the city council meeting. And then I was just talking to the captain of the Riverside Police Department, and he's saying that they've gotten word that several busloads of people will come down here for a rally that is supposed to take place at 5 p.m. Normally, the city council meets in the evening. They got word about this, and they structured the city council meeting to take place at 3 o'clock to minimize the opportunity for these people to have a platform at the public comment. So I'm here. I just got here a little bit ago. I had a chance to hear some of the what they're doing is taking right now about 75 people have signed up to speak at this city council meeting. Roughly about a third of those are opposed to making Riverside City in Southern California a sanctuary city, and about 2/3 are for it. So that's just kind of the current status. The mood is very light. There's not a whole lot of the kind of thing that we've seen happen at rallies of this nature in the past. Although the crowd size is kind of muted. There's only about 25, 30 people that are standing outside city council chambers. There are roughly about 20 people that are holding up signs against the glass window. And I've seen a number of people speaking out against the sanctuary city who are both activists as well as residents here inside Riverside City Council, inside the meeting. So that's just kind of where things stand right now. It's interesting because in Southern California, you've had the state, we've got bills proposed in the Senate that want to make the state a sanctuary city. And so, that's the mood from a legislative perspective. They want to try and push this in that direction. And so there's a lot of people here that are opposed to that and are pushing back.
Okay, we're in our short segment here. We're going to go to a break here. We can come back. I want to float this within the bigger picture because we also have something going on between some of the California lawmakers and Donald Trump, who has threatened to defund maybe defund California, who wants to become a sanctuary state. So we're talking within a bigger picture here. So stay with us, guys. We've got Don Dix from Act for America out there in Riverside with us right now, and we're going to get back to him in just a minute, but we got to run some commercials here. So stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away. We're not arguing. We're explaining why we're right. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-790-5960. That's 1-800-790-5960. Again, 1-800-790-5960. Call now.
Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification require. Cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing and other restrictions apply. If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Only Dish brings you the best in entertainment for less than $20 a month. Cut the cable and don't get directed. Switch to Dish because at just $19.99, Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. It's so simple. The same channels cost less with Dish. So since you can't see the difference, don't pay the difference. Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Get premium movie channels free for 3 months, starting at just $19.99. Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. Call now to save with Dish. Dial 1-800-600-1645. That's 1-800-600-1645. The same channels for less than $20 a month. Dish. Call 1-800-600-1645 for details.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Attention taxpayers. If you've received a notice from the IRS or state, do not ignore it. It's also a big mistake to try and handle your tax problem on your own. If you owe back taxes, it's a fact that the government has the power to take everything you own, including your home, business, wages, savings, and your freedom. But here's the good news. There's a special toll-free tax hotline set up especially for you. This tax hotline will tell you about new programs that are geared to help you dramatically settle, reduce, or eliminate what you owe. But you have to call now. Take down this number or put it in your cell phone. But call 866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959. When you call, you get free information on how you can reduce or eliminate back taxes, including penalties and interest. You can also be helped if you have unfiled returns, a tax lien, wage garnishment, bank levy, or if you've been entered into a payment plan but can't make the payments. Don't make the big mistake in thinking you can ignore or handle your tax problem on your own. You can stop the collection process immediately. Call this special tax hotline today for free info at 1-866-761-0959. That's 1-866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959.
And now back to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. Okay, hey, we're back, and this is the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos. We've got Don Dix out there in Riverside, California. It's about, I think about an hour south of where I'm sitting right at the moment here. He's out there getting ready to attend a city council meeting and I guess a subsequent rally about, I guess there's a certain segment of the state that wants to turn Riverside into yet another sanctuary city. In the bigger picture, we have a feud beginning to erupt between Donald Trump and some of the state lawmakers out here in California who basically want to turn California into a sanctuary state. And it's going back and forth. It's starting to rile up here. Donald Trump, I guess, over the weekend in one of the shows, I think it was Bill O'Reilly, mentioned that California was, quote, unquote, out of control, and maybe we needed to be defunded. And what it caught my ear most of all, first of all, when I was kind of researching this, is the accusation by these California state lawmakers that we have there's a constitutionality issue regarding the funding, pulling funding to the states. And I want to get your opinion on this, Don, because I don't know, the Constitution I've read doesn't say that the federal government has any obligation to fund anybody.
Well, John, honestly, I didn't pass the bar, so I can't give you a legal opinion. But I can tell you everything that I have read says that in the event that there is a reason to withhold funding, that the President of the United States has that authority. So, you know, the idea that this money is set in stone and that nothing can get in the way of stopping this funding is a little ludicrous just on the face of it. You know, if these cities do not choose to honor, I'm sorry, I was a little bit distracted. There's a sign out here that someone's holding that says, Donald Trump supporters, please wear your squats to go right side up. I mean, this is the caliber of people we have showing up at this event. You know, the name calling, the vitriol, it's kind of ratcheting up. So I got a little bit distracted by that when you were asking your question. I was like, seriously. but my opinion is based on everything that I've read, and everything that I have read says that the President of the United States has the right to withhold funding that is geared towards these cities and states following the federal law that governs these areas of immigration, and the funding that's tied to that as it relates to law enforcement. I mean, you can't just arbitrarily cut funding for, say, schools or education, but the funding that's tied to the to these immigration laws. If the cities and states enact these rules, they have Donald Trump has the authority. And I just want to comment too on the bigger picture of things. What we see unfolding here in the United States between rallies that are getting violently disrupted, like those at Berkeley, to even things like this, is what I think is happening is that the people that occupy the liberal side of the aisle are engaged in a collective conniption over the results of the election. So rule of law doesn't even seem to matter anymore. It's now down to the last, what I call, bullet in the gun, which is civil unrest. And I think that's where we're headed.
Yeah, well, we said that before on the show, actually.
Yeah. Joe, you want to reiterate that?
Yeah, my general contention is that these folks want somebody to get hurt, somebody to die. They want death in the streets so they can use it to their quote-unquote political advantage, because then they'll blame it on the quote-unquote victims. Then they'll blame it on Trump. You got Robert Reich saying that conservatives sent rioters to Berkeley to burn it down. I mean, really? Come on, Bobby.
Well, I just want to add to that. It's not so much Robert Reich saying that, because we expect that kind of rhetoric from certain people like him. What really bothers me is when you see media outlets picking that up as a story and giving him the amplified benefit of additional media coverage. So now, it's not just Robert Reich on a Don Lemon show, saying some wild-eyed conspiracy stuff. Of course, you've got Don Lemon egging him on a little bit. But now you have other media outlets that will pick that story, or picking that story up and reporting it as mere fact, And so this is what the mainstream media is engaged in right now, because they are the partners of this outrage machine that is part of what is being generated by the left. It's an outrage machine.
And yet they can't understand why people don't trust them anymore, because they're blatantly dishonest. And that's been the whole bone of contention with President Trump's administration and the media. Be honest about things. Quit this crap. Or at least if you're going to be on one side, just be honest with us and be on that side.
Right.
Quit this facade of being neutral.
Well, I think the facade has been ripped off, and that's part of what the benefit of a Donald Trump presidency is that we now have the bully pulpit via Donald Trump, and the facade is being ripped off, and so now they have nowhere. They're now out in the open, and they have nowhere to hide but to continue. I mean, you even had the organizer, one of the organizers of this Berkeley riot was interviewed on public television up in the Bay Area, and she outright claimed the violence. It wasn't a matter, she didn't even try to distance herself from it. She claimed it, said, we did it, it's what we need to do. We are now at that point to where the only resort we have is to resort to violence, and it's okay. So they're not even hiding it anymore.
And they should be called on it, and they should be incarcerated for it. You're not allowed to. You're not allowed to do that. It's against the law. It is a law. You're not allowed to incite violence. You're not allowed to incite a riot.
Well, you're not. But when you have the police, who obviously got a stand-down order because they were sitting there witnessing the assaults, they were witnessing the pepper spraying, they were witnessing people that wanted to attend what's supposed to be a free speech event. They were witnessing the assaults that were taking place and doing nothing. In fact, the police themselves were assaulted. When you look at the video, you see the guy standing up on the second floor, and the protesters are blowing off bottle rockets at them.
Yeah.
So you could make an argument that the police themselves were being assaulted, and yet they did nothing. So there was clearly a stand-down order that was issued, so that basically let them riot, let them have their space to do things, just like in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Give them the space, and the result is what you had in Berkeley. The result is what you have in Baltimore. The result is what you have unfolding in these situations all across the state.
So when you have the loss of innocent life because of these leftists and everything, the only thing I can say is then again, elections have consequences. Now you need to vote the people that are allowing this stuff to happen. You need to get them out of there, because that's what's happening here. You voted these people in, and now people are going to die, and now you need to get rid of these people and get them out of office. Otherwise, more people will die, and then it's just going to snowball into all out just anarchy.
And which I believe is.
Oh no!
Go ahead, Don. Go ahead.
That's exactly where they're pushing this. They want that. This is the end goal right now is anarchy. You have the political machine of the left, essentially the Democratic Party, that is lying in tatters. That's probably one of the more underreported stories in the mainstream media. They can't even elect a new head right now. When you have extremists that are coming out that are vying for that position, they can't even elect a new chairman for the Democratic National Committee. So they're rudderless. Their message didn't hit home. They're realizing that they have to. So the only thing that's left is to allow the outrage machine unfold on the streets and hopefully get whatever that gets them. And ultimately, I think what it gets them is that the people that are in the middle that were uncertain about which side of the political spectrum to plant their flag are going to figure out pretty soon that the Democratic Party is home to the radicals of the left. Yeah. The Democratic Party is home to communists, it's home to socialists. They're going to say, well, what in the world? I don't identify with this anymore. And they're going to look around and go, oh, you know what? Either I stay no party preference, or I realize that what matters in this country, the thing that makes America great, the thing that defines us versus other societies, is the rule of law. It is a constitution. It is the peaceful handing of power from one group to another that's happened. This is the gift. One of the gifts of our founding fathers is the ability to have this peaceful transition of power. What we have here is a group of people that's just not happy with the outcome. They're not happy with the peaceful transition of power, and they're going to act out. And it's the exact opposite of what America stands for.
Yes. Yeah, and eventually what's going to have to come to pass is people will realize the other benefit we have is we can go out there and use our voices to instill change. If we don't like our government, the government's a reflection upon us, as us, so we can change that. We get involved, and we change it. But we don't do it through the means that the left is doing right now.
I'm just curious.
No.
Joe had brought up earlier when we were talking with Audrey in the first hour, the idea that now that they're going to be voting on the confirmation of Tom Sessions tomorrow as district attorney, and once that comes down the pipe here, and I think that somebody's going to take the bull by the horns here and just say, okay, enough is enough. We're going to do something about this. If you're going to out there, it's a federal crime to do what these people are doing. It's one thing to get out there and demonstrate and to express your opinions and everything, but when you have things like I heard just the other day in Connecticut, blocking the freeways, and an ambulance couldn't get through. They were trying to get somebody to the hospital, and this is the kind of stuff, the calling for the overthrow of the government or the impeachment of a president who hasn't even has just been in office for 2 weeks, hasn't even done anything, really, that could be even remotely impeachable. All these things are basically calling for the overthrow of the government, which is a federal offense. If you and I got on the radio, Don, and started talking about, let's assassinate Donald Trump, we'd be liable if we had been called for that during the Obama administration. You can be damn sure that somebody would be knocking on our door wanting to have a little conversation with us about wanting to take out the president. Audrey was talking about, 12,000 plus tweets out there right now calling for the assassination of Donald Trump. This is and here's my point, and I'll turn the mic back over to you. The point is that we have sitting here. This is a minority of people, actually. That's what people don't seem to forget, or they seem to forget. It's a small minority compared to the rest of the world that's out here calling for violence and everything else. So, I want to. What do you think about that? You got about a minute to respond here before we go to break, Don.
Well, it's clearly a minority. We know that. It's a very vocal minority, but it's also a highly organized minority. And I think that the thing that the lesson that conservatives need to take away from everything that's happened since the election is that the only difference between the left and the right is a matter of organization. We need to be so much better organized in order to be able to everything from articulating our message to, it's showing up at these meetings like this. The thing that allows the left to co-opt both the legislation all the way down to the message on the streets is the fact that conservatives are still AWOL. They showed up to vote, but that's not the end of it, as we're seeing. We have to be here to answer this call that's happening in the streets.
Yeah. Great answer. We got to take our quick our break here. Bottom of the hour, and we've got Don Dix with us, sitting out there in the enemy turf right now, out there in Riverside. Stay with us, guys. We'll be back in just a moment.
Hey, I'll make you a deal. Give me 60 seconds, and I'll give you directions to the Fountain of Youth. Okay, I'm joking. Well, kind of joking. No fountains, but youth, I got Nature's Youth and their premier anti-aging product, Nature's Youth RSF. With your sensible diet and exercise plan, Nature's Youth RSF can help you look and feel better. RSF is an all-natural amino acid supplement that supports your body to naturally increase HGH levels without any synthetic hormones. And elevated HGH levels can contribute to increased energy, improved libido, reduced body fat, and improved exercise capacity. Let's be honest. Who doesn't want to look and feel younger? Visit the newly designed website at naturesyouth.com or call 800-333-6923. That's 800-333-6923, and like them on Facebook, and you'll be included in contests and exclusive offers. What a deal. Oh, speaking of deals, my time's about up. 800-333-6923 or naturesyouth.com. Who needs a fountain anyway? Call today.
Expand your life with Extendovite.
When I had a heart attack at 42, I was not sure what the future held. But a year later, the doctors could find nothing wrong with me and took me off all my medication. What did I do? I took a herbal mixture of garlic, cayenne, and a few other herbs mixed in liquid form. I now call this Extendovite. I would have never believed that a few simple herbs could actually change my life like they did. Now it's your turn to see what the powers of garlic and cayenne can do for you. For only $69.95 plus shipping and handling for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid, you too can begin on your path to better health. For more information, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Expand your life with Extendovite.
I've owned my company for 14 years now, and I can tell you that payroll is a 4-letter word. I hate doing it. It eats up hours I don't have, and it costs me money I could be saving. But my accountant's too expensive, and I'm not sure who to call. But I know I need help.
We're Paychex, and we take all the hassles out of small business payroll. We save you time and money. It's easy. Call, fax, or give us your payroll information securely online, and we take care of the rest. We calculate the correct taxes, manage payments and direct deposits. We even send out your checks. Payroll doesn't need to be a 4-letter word anymore. We're so sure that we can save you time and money that we'll give you a month's payroll free. Just for calling 877-663-3830. Get 1 month's payroll for free. Call Paychex right now. 877-663-3830. That's 877-663-3830.
Hey, I don't back anybody unless I believe in them. And I do believe in the value of investing in gold and silver. And the company I trust to buy my gold and silver from is Swiss America. I've been working with them for nearly a decade. I trust them, and you can too. Swiss America will help you sort through and find the best options available when you're considering investing in gold and silver coins. Listen, for over 30 years, Swiss America has been offering Americans what they want in their investments: safety, liquidity, quality, reliability, and a potential profit. Gold and silver have a place in every investor's portfolio. So why not let Swiss America help you diversify your investment portfolio now? Call now for free information. 800-978-3907. 800-978-3907. 800-978-3907. 800-978-3907.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-380-2906. That's 800-380-2906. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-380-2906.
And now back to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. All right, here we're back, and I am John Matthews along with Joe Hikos. You're listening to the Conservative Syndicate, and we've got Don Dix sitting out there in Riverside, California right now. At a city council meeting, I guess a meeting's getting ready to kick underway, and then followed up by a rally, trying to turn Riverside into a sanctuary city. And we've kind of been discussing at the local level and trying to expand on it at the state level here, and got into a conversation about the increase of violence that is taking place throughout the country, labeled by the media as protests, but we know it was more as riots. And, you know, when we were talking about just before the break here, when we're speaking of elected officials that through their actions or words or lack of actions or words and encourage the type of activity that we see going on out there, in terms of violence and threats and everything else. I was going to talk about, maybe I will tomorrow, finally get to it, about the March for Life that took place out in Washington and the harassment and insults and assaults that took place out there by the Women's March that took place a week earlier. We talked about that briefly yesterday, but we see this increase in almost a licensing of violence at these protests, kind of on par with the Occupy Wall Street movement. And I have a strange feeling that a lot of these things are connected through organizations and stuff like that. And we see a total disregard for the protocol by elected officials in regards to exercising someone's First Amendment rights. Meaning that we can, you have the right to demonstrate and you have the right to protest. But when it comes down to destroying property and assaulting people and stuff like that, you're entering into criminal acts rather than an expression of opinion. And along that line, we had, the call has been calls to have Donald Trump impeached by elected officials, by the way. And the guy hasn't even really found out where all the bathrooms are in Congress right now. It's amazing to me. And Joe had some clips here. Our favorite person out here in California, one of my favorite people out here, outside of the Sanchez sisters, Maxine Waters. who's down here in the just north of me, out here in Compton, like 20 minutes away from here. And she had called for the impeachment of Donald Trump last week and then tried to walk it back. And Joe's got these clips because I think it's important that you hear from the people themselves, elected officials, how they're playing into this and helping to orchestrate this violence that's taking place right now. So, Joe, you've got the con, and then we'll get Don's comments on that.
All right, cool. Yeah, so here's Maxine Waters. This was yesterday, and she was asked, well, I'll let the question stands, but I also want you to listen to what else she says as justification for her rationale, just off the chain comments here. So here is Maxine Waters, Congresswoman from the fair state of California.
Last week, you said your greatest desire is to lead Donald Trump right into impeachment. I'm wondering why is it appropriate to call for the impeachment of the president less than a month after him taking office?
I have not called for the impeachment yet. He's doing it himself. Let me just say that the statement I made was a statement in response to questions and pleas that I'm getting from many citizens across this country. What are we going to do? How can a president who is acting in the manner that he's acting, whether he's talking about the travel ban, the way that he's targeting Muslims, or whether he's talking about his relationship to Putin and the Kremlin, and knowing that they have hacked our DCCC and DNC, and knowing that he is responsible for supplying the bombs that killed innocent children and families in Aleppo. And the fact that he is wrapping his arms around Putin while Putin is continuing to advance into Korea, I think that he is leading himself into that kind of position where folks will begin to ask, what are we going to do? And the answer is going to be, eventually, we've got to do something about him. We cannot continue to have a president who's acting in this manner. It is dangerous to the United States of America.
Yeah, it's dangerous to the United States of America. Maxine Waters says that Putin has overrun Korea now, and she wants to go ahead and impeach President Trump because she knows that the Russians hacked the DNC. So, but she says she denies call for his impeachment. So,
California also plans to skip the inauguration. Also,
and here's Maxine Waters.
Well, let's talk about where that leads to, Congresswoman. You've raised a good point here. I guess for you, it is important. If we find out that somebody on behalf of Donald Trump was on the phone or in email relations with somebody in Russia or the ambassador to America from Russia, and there was some sort of, as you call it, collusion, then what? Does that make Trump subject to impeachment? What do you mean by not legitimate? Just generally what you mean by the term.
Well,
if you find out there was a connection, there was collusion, your term.
Well, here's what I'm trying to get to. If we discover that Donald Trump or his advocates played a role in helping to devise strategy, if they're the ones who came up with crooked Hillary, if they're the ones who came up with she's ill, something's wrong with her energy, and the way that he basically, described her in the campaign, I think that is something that would put the question squarely on the table whether or not he should be impeached.
So you think you can have an impeachable offense before you take office, in other words?
Well, I think that at the point that investigations discover and can confirm and document any of that they had a role in helping to strategize, they had a role in attempting to determine the outcome, that in many ways they used the information that they got from the DNC when they hacked into our emails, etc. If that was used against Hillary Clinton in some ways, yes, I think that's impeachable.
But I never said I want to impeach him.
All right.
Can I look, I have a thought here for you guys.
There you go.
Sure.
I just want to tell, since, there's people all across the country that hear your show as it's aired and through podcasts. I just want to let everybody know that Maxine Waters is California's gift to the rest of the nation. You're welcome.
Thanks, Don. We in Florida appreciate that. Gift to you was Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
Exactly. I just want to know when Maxine Waters went off her meds and thinks that Putin was working his way into Korea. Yeah. No, Maxine, it's Crimea. And it's really unfortunate that someone that sits on these committees, who's a duly elected individual that's representing 700,000, 500,000 constituents, that is the crime. That the person that is voting on these measures and helping to craft law from this country doesn't know her geography. She can't even claim ignorance of freshman status. She's been around long enough. She's been briefed enough to know it's not Korea, it's Crimea.
But she's up there, Don. She has Nancy Pelosi coaching her during this. If you watch the video, Pelosi's up there coaching her, telling her, that's Aleppo. And she couldn't understand Crimea, so she got Korea.
Wasn't it Nancy Pelosi that was coaching Andre Carson at the podium on the Supreme Court steps? Yes. Oh, tell them you're a Muslim.
Yes, absolutely. So another gift to America from California.
It boils down to this: the main weapon of the left is identity politics. That's why they glom onto the sanctuary city issue. Mm-hmm. That's why they show up at these events. Is because first of all, there's no victim. They don't allow a victim to pass unembraced. Their entire methodology is victimology, and it's all about identity politics. You take those two tools away from the left, they have nothing. They don't have an argument that engages the body politic. That's the problem that Hillary Clinton had. She had absolutely no message for America about what she's going to do to fix things. It was all identity politics. I want to be the first woman to break the glass ceiling. That's the reason to vote for me. It's the same reason that Barack Obama got voted on largely. It was identity politics. We want to see the first black man in office. That's why you have a continuing high popularity level for him, but a low popularity level for his positions and the results of his, sort of legislation. Look, he and Hillary lit up the Middle East with their foreign policy. They deposed Gaddafi. They killed some. And this is exactly what Donald Trump got a lot of flack for what he said on Bill O'Reilly's interview before the Super Bowl Sunday about we're not so innocent either. We've killed people. Well, what he should have gone on to say was exactly what the Clinton State Department and what the Obama White House administration did was they actually pulled the trigger and killed Gaddafi. That was on their watch.
Well, not only that, Don, they also killed an American citizen without due process in Yemen with a drone attack.
Well, I kind of look at it in just a little bit wider perspective here, in line with what Don was saying here about California. We just have just a massive number of people sitting in Congress.
So what you're hearing right now is, "Hi, Laura, how are you?" Wow. Some of the people are starting to leave the city council meeting, and what you're hearing in the background, they're taking a break. So they're taking a break, and what you're hearing is that they're doing their chants right now. What I also understand here in the last few minutes is that what we have is essentially a large group of students from UCR that have been animated and coached by their professors to come down, speak at a public hearing about this sanctuary city issue. So you're seeing a lot of students that get up, and then when they get up and they talk, then they're cheered on. So it's pretty amusing.
Wow.
Oh, never mind. Ask them how they feel about 22 veterans a day committing suicide.
Yeah.
How they feel about that instead.
Yeah. Wow.
Don't get me started on that. That was actually why I was voting for the Atlanta Falcons, because they had the video that came out the week prior to the Super Bowl. and they were each one of them was naming an individual that had been killed in action. Are you leaving?
Yeah, I've got to cut in here. We've got to do a break here, or a quick break. We'll see what it's like when we get back here. In a couple minutes here, we'll see what it's like with Don out there in Riverside. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away.
All right.
There is an old saying, children should be seen but not heard. At no time is this more apparent than when politicians speak. TheConservativeSyndicate.net, the adult in the room. Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did. History affirms a vibrant civil society thrives on freedom of conscience, religion, and choice. Any society absent these qualities stifles individual responsibility and accountability, thus enslaving its people by denying them the potential for goodness, creativity, and altruism. To that extent, oppression, coercion, and totalitarianism are multiplied exponentially. To counter such outcomes, the American Freedom Alliance was formed. The AFA is a nonpartisan, non-aligned movement which promotes, defends, and upholds Western values and ideals. The Alliance strives to build an international coalition of citizens of the West who together promote and protect moral values, democracy, and freedom. To find out more and become part of this valuable asset in the preservation of freedom and all its rewards, contact us at AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. That's AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. Let freedom ring. And now back to the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. All right, yeah, we're back, and this is the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos, and we had to mute some mics out here as we're here picking up background noise. Don Dick's out there at Riverside City Council meeting. Don, are you still there with us?
Hello, Don.
Don, you still there?
I'm still here. I just had it on mute so you didn't have to worry about the background noise through your commercial here. So what's happened is the city council has taken a break. And so now all of the leftists have come out. They've done what they're trained to do, which is to chant, the whole mic drop, everything they learned during the Occupy Wall Street era. They crowded around. What's interesting is they crowded around the entrance to the City Hall building so as to obstruct anybody from coming or going or intimidate them. That's kind of what they've done here. I've also learned that there's quite a few students from the surrounding universities. You got UCR, which is a uber-liberal college of the ilk of UC Berkeley. And a lot of the students have been brought down, encouraged to come by their professors. It's those students that are inside that are speaking out, and then when they get done speaking, the professors rally their students to start cheering and supporting the speakers and the next speakers. So it's just they're making a lot of noise. Yeah, and I'm seeing a lot of folks, conservative folks that I know from in and around the Inland Empire. They're leaving. They've already spoken. They're shaking their heads and in just disbelief. This stuff comes to your home community. It's a wake-up call.
A couple of things I want to clarify here, Don, while we have a few moments. We only got a few moments left with you. You said that most of the, am I to understand that most of the people that were there, are not in favor of sanctuary cities?
Well, the crowd has shifted. It started out, well, here's part of the problem. There's two city council meetings, one at 3 and one at 7. The city got wind of this happening, and so what they did was they canceled the 7 o'clock city council meeting, and that caught the protesters a little off balance because they were planning on getting here at 5 o'clock and then going and speaking during public comment at 6:30. So what happened was, their messaging and planning got a little bit thrown off because they weren't planning on being here at the 3 o'clock meeting, but when they found out that the council meeting was canceled at 7, they changed their footing and got here at 3. So now the crowd size, the balance is shifting to mostly the protesters because the conservatives that were speaking out, for order of law and against sanctuary status, they got up and spoke first, and now they're leaving. So that's leaving the balance of the crowd shifted now towards the protesters.
Okay, all right, and I am to understand. You mentioned UC. Is it UC Riverside where most of these students are coming from, or is it a conglomeration?
Well, I'm sure some of them come from some of the other public institutions around, but the bulk, you got UCR, which is literally across the freeway from downtown Riverside, and it is a large university, largely, especially in the humanities and the liberal arts and those kinds of schools, largely liberal makeup of both the administration and the professors. I've heard some estimates as high as 95% at that university. To the point to where Christian students are actually intimidated in class. They don't feel comfortable wearing their crosses. They don't feel comfortable speaking out on behalf of their religious beliefs. They've got real issues about, being overwhelmed by the liberal message in these universities. Don't feel comfortable. So they're basically conservatives in hiding. They just recently started a couple of conservative clubs. You got Young Americans for Liberty that now has a chapter there. You've got Young Americans for Freedom that now has a chapter there. There's now a Republican group there, but it's still it's an uphill battle.
All right. Okay. I'm just, it inspires me to the point where I'm thinking about maybe I should take a political science class just so I can sit in one of these classrooms. I would really love to be the guy that kind of rocks the boat at a local college here. I live right across the street from a college. I may just enroll in a political science class just to do my own protesting. We're out of time, Don. I want to give you a moment though to plug your show and what you're doing. So you got about a minute.
So every day we have a radio show, and as we're saying goodbye, one of the conservative students from UCR just walked up, and don't have time to get him on the phone, but he leads the conservative Republican class group there. But we're on the radio every day from 6 to 7 on the West Coast on AM 590 The Answer, and it's always a pleasure to be able to check in with you guys. Thanks for everything you're doing.
All right, thank you, and be safe, man. Don't get yourself involved in anything.
I plan on jumping right into the middle of this crowd.
All right. Take care, my friend. Bye-bye. All right. Okay, guys, we are coming up on the end of the hour here, and any comments, Joe? You got comments here about what we heard from Don today?
No, I think it's just awesome that Don's out there doing what he's doing because that's what he's right. You still, just because the election's over, you still have to stay involved. But the thing that, and he's talking about they're so organized and everything. Well, understand, I don't know about you, but I got other things to do in my life besides learn some stupid chant somewhere so I can go in front and inconvenience my fellow citizens. So, we go, we do our work, we earn a living, and then we take care of our families. And then, if we have the time, we get involved in other things like I did today, but it's not, done in a way that inconveniences other people while I'm doing it. And that's what conservatives and most Americans are like. They're not like these students that have nothing better to do.
Yeah.
Or the people that are getting paid to do this.
Yeah, or in some cases, the students that are getting graded on whether they show up or not.
Yes, exactly. This is your out of school activity.
Yeah.
And exactly. It's like, are you kidding me? My out of school activities used to be, hey, let me make a lamp out of popsicle sticks.
It is amazing that we have an entire generation, and maybe more than one generation, but certainly one that we're obviously aware of now, that is just being totally socially engineered just to do this kind of stuff. The hell with education. It's more like, learn how to become a professional protester.
It's indoctrination, and that's exactly what this is, and it's pathetic. These social programs. Hey, in other words, you're paying good money to get a degree that's useless.
Yeah,
absolutely useless. Yeah. You can't earn a living doing that.
No, and instead of doing something constructive. Like perhaps, why don't we have a debate? Remember, that's how we used to do it. You bring in people from opposing sides, you put them in front of a crowd, and you debate, and people determine who presented the better argument. Instead,
now it's I say this, you say that, I say this, you get offended and call me names. Oh, there you go. That's great.
Yeah. One of the things it kind of reminded me so much during the holidays, I played one of the clips that we played, or one of the archives that we played. It was Sal Alinsky debating William F. Buckley Jr., and it was amazing how these debates went down and how respectable they were for each other, but yet they had to do what they had to do. Anyway, guys, we're at the end of the show here. We'll be back tomorrow. No guest tomorrow, so we've got the full day to cover some stuff that we've been wanting to cover all week. So thank you for tuning in today. Be back tomorrow. Remember to visit our website, theconservativesyndicate.net. We will talk to you tomorrow. God bless you. Thanks for tuning in to this edition of the Conservative Syndicate, the nationally acclaimed, globally syndicated, politically incorrect talk show that seeks to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state. We want to make you aware you can find and access all our show archives at our website, theconservativesyndicate.net, as well as our broadcast stations and times. That's theconservativesyndicate.net. We so appreciate you taking the time to tune in, and we so look forward to continuing to bring you the best in uncompromised talk radio available on the net today. And remember, folks, it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down in life. It only matters how many times you get up. I'm John Matthews, along with Joe Hago, signing off until next time right here at the Conservative Syndicate. God bless you, and may God continue to bless America.